Hello there, here we go again, another edition of All the Gear, No Idea. Hi, it's me, Dave Lockwood, with you and the rest of the crew lined up and looking and catching up so far on what we've been up to in 2026. Hope you're all well. As I say, Dave Lockwood, milljets.uk. Find me on Insta, online, Flickr. I think I'm on TikTok, but I'm something else on TikTok. And something else. There we are. The Menace and stuff.
If you can find his TikTok,
yeah,
do
if you
let
can
us
find
know.
it. No, don't. So there you go. Bradley Rogers, where are you?
Good evening, all. Thrust Aviation imagery on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Keiran, how's your horns, by the
Evening,
way?
everyone. All good, yeah. All finished blowing my trumpet.
Good stuff.
Since the weekend. So Keiran Wilkinson, you'll find me KeiranWilkinson.com on the internet. Fly by Code on Instagram, or Keiran Wilkinson Photography on Facebook.
Okay. Wayne is not with us this evening, and Wayne will be popping in every now and again, but he won't be as frequent as he has been. So we've put him in the Martin Baker seat, and he's somewhere over Oxfordshire at the moment. And joining us now, flown in from Staverton, is young Alid. Danger.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, it didn't take long, did it?
Third word.
Yeah. So Alid, Clifton Cameras, you'll find me at @Phillips_photo on Instagram, or just dotting around Clifton Cameras on Monday Fridays.
And you've been shooting birds this week at Clifton's, haven't you? Not shooting birds, but taking photos of birds.
We've been taking photos of birds, yeah. The Sony A7R6 roadshow came to town, so I organised a company to come in with some birds of prey to shoot, which was actually a real nice change. So the panning practice at Midlands Air Festival was put straight to use on something else on Monday, which was nice.
I have to say, I was in Brad's part of the world last week, and I went to Batford Arboretum to the Cotswold Falconry Centre, and they are fantastic there. If you get a chance to go and see their displays, well worth going to see. If you like shooting your birds of prey. Right, so Brad, what have you been up to since we last really... we talked a couple of weeks ago about Ria, but this year, what have you been up to?
Oh, what haven't I been up to?
Yeah, I can see your list, yeah.
So we've got to cast our minds back, because this is the first time we've been together for, a few months even, isn't it? A couple of recordings in between. So my year so far, some shooting buccaneers at Kemble. I've made a couple of trips down to Fairford to catch the bombers, which was ironic,
there's some
really.
bombers there.
Yeah, which cancelled off our favourite air show of the year, sadly, which, of course, me and Dave touched on in the last episode. Also did a visit to the Mac Loop. Got a handful of stuff there. Did a holiday, non-aviation, other than getting there and coming back, of course, to Rome. Shuttleworth, and Midlands Air Festival, where I think more or less did see all of you. So
yeah, we did.
Over separate days.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And Keiran, what have you been up to so far?
Yeah, so kind of much the same. So casting way back to March, we obviously had the Mac Loop. Cheeky plug for that episode there. Then after that, I did some shooting around the Real Aeroplane Club. The folks up at Breeton in Yorkshire. An interesting place up north of sort of vintage aircraft, and the light behind the sun behind you, so the light's quite nice. It's a shame about the stuff in the background, but yeah, nice place to visit. Did a Centre of Aviation Photography shoot at Sywell, which was 2-day event. So that was shooting the Hurricane and Spitfire there, and then doing some editing and printing on the Sunday, which was great fun. And then probably the highlight of this year, the Will Meet again at Yorkshire Air Museum. So we had the Irving Squadron over with us to work on the Centre of Aviation Photography shoot with the Halifax. Pretty much as exciting as it gets for me as a photographer there. So we also had an outing out in York, photographing the French airmen, so to speak, discovering York. So yeah, it was quite a busy weekend, that one, but lots of great imagery out of it and things like that. And then obviously Midlands Air Festival, the social that is, and the how do you like your aircraft backlit, which Bradley will charge me for the copyright for that quote later. So yeah, Aled, you obviously spent some time in the Mac with me and Midlands, but what else has been going on?
Yeah, very similar list actually. So going way back to the Sywell shoot was at that one as well. Sort of small part to play in getting Canon along with Clifton, so that was good. Print workshop, I think, was more successful than the day actually shooting with the kit. It was nice to see people getting out and about and using some new stuff and having them on hand. They really enjoyed the day as well, the two guys that came along from Canon, so that was all good to see. I've done a few Mac Loop excursions as well, so just the odd day up there, as and when we got the sort of the slight nod that something may be about. So taking a couple of days leave to jaunt up there at the last minute. And then the biggest one for me is probably the native tiger meet out in Heraxos in Greece. So as part of the co-op tour that went out there and managed to get some nice paint schemes in some backlit light, which seems to be a theme of this episode so far. So it wasn't all bad. The canyon was quite quiet. We didn't get any of the tiger specials through when we were out there. And I think it was only the Belgians that actually took an F-16 through very end of the exercise, so didn't miss too much there. But the actual on-base days were actually really good. Typical chaos of the Greeks organisation getting in, but once you were in, the actual days ran smooth as anything, and there was very little downtime actually on the spotters day and the air show day, which was really nice. And then more backlit stuff. So Midlands Air Festival, the Saturday was very sunny and quite hazy, so it was a struggle to get through some images there. But the Sunday cooled off a little bit and was cloudy, so a lot better performance there from the weather. So more on point for the UK, meant we could get some nice shots.
Yeah. So I saw you out in Greece, obviously, because we'll talk about that in a second. But I've not done as much as you guys have done this year. I've had quite a slow year. We did the Duxford in a different light shoot back whenever that was. I think that was the end of March, wasn't it? And it was in actually really, really good light, and they positioned the aircraft well. They were lit very well, and they seemed to listen. The girls that were taking us around and had taken over the shoot seemed to know what they were doing, and it was quite enjoyable, I've got to say. So I got some good results from that. Went to the Biggin Hill shoot organised by Darren Harbour. That was excellent, have to say. It really, really was great. The only thing I would say about that is positioning of the aircraft for the engine runs. If you wanted to get the head-on shot, which I wanted to get of the Bouchon, unfortunately, you had all the hangars at Biggin on what's known as the old South Camp all lit up. So editing those out has been a bit of a nightmare, trying to get a clean shot of the Bouchon with the blue flames coming out the side of it. But I've got to say, Moonbeam McSwine was superb in some absolutely glorious light, and obviously the spit as well, because obviously it's Biggin Hill, so there's going to be a spit there. Went out to Greece, went out for the air show on the Sunday, saw Alid and the Collins, did manage to get some swag, didn't buy too much. I was very good. Then we went on the Monday to the low levels, because obviously we were out there for FanCon. So we went out there specifically to catch Phantoms, and we were in the low level on the Monday, and we had, 6 passes in all, I think, from Phantoms. Yeah,
yes.
6.
4 Phantoms, 2 F-16s.
That was it. Yeah. We had the four Phantoms, 2 F-16s in the afternoon, which I completely mucked up because we were in the wrong position. Cameras down and off, and should have been ready. And then we had the Italian Caesars, the Merlins, come through, the ASC the combat special rescue ones, which are quite special actually. So I've got some nice photos of that one going across the top of the monastery, if you know the canyon, Veracruz in Greece. But the main thing out there was to go to FanCon, and 2 days on base with 338 Mirror. They were fantastic. Their hospitality is beyond anything. The souvlaki was superb, but we got 6 Phantoms coming past us, taxiing, lining up, and then taking off. And it was there were the other things as well. The evening shoots, we did a night shoot with Phantoms in Hazes coming out. So I've got some shots of that. We've got they taxied out the special jet this year that's come through Theo taxied it out. He took it onto the pan. We were able to get up. They put a ladder up, and we were able to take some shots of it down onto it in some glorious light. And people got shots of the pilots crawling out. I was too busy queuing up to get the down shot because that's the shot I really wanted. Wished I had got the pilots coming out now because there's some superb stuff that's come out from the guys that were there. So yeah, that's been my year so far, and then going to Math last weekend for Heat Haze Fest. Saturday was just too bloody hot, unfortunately, and my photos have suffered. I've got some, it's weird. You look at one shot and it's perfect, and then the next shot it's gone completely, and there's no rhyme or reason
There
to
was
it.
some weird pockets of the sky, weren't there, where it was haze, 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 haze. You can have that slither. And if you lined up well, you were all right.
Yeah. I've got a challenge to get. I've got about 2 decent photos of the MiG, so I'm glad we're going to be seeing that later in the year. But that's my year so far. So I really enjoyed it. Phantoms, and I didn't spend too much money on patches, but I have got patches. So there you go.
There's a lot of pounds in the swear jar for the Phantom word, though.
Pound jar?
We thought Wayne was bad with Saabs, man.
About that bad?
He's just filling the gap. We miss him, really.
So let's look at the challenges we faced and what paid off, what worked at the events, and what we mentioned. Brad, I'm going to start with you on this one.
Yeah, so obviously we spoke about on the other podcast that I treated myself to a new lens at the start of the year. So armed with the 500mm, I thought, God, Buccaneer, fast taxiing at Kemble. What more could we want? So foolishly, I took just that lens from the car park to the viewing area. And sadly, due to crosswind and the fault with the jet, we had no fast taxi. So basically, I left with pretty much no photographs at all, other than a few of the crew and whatnot, and a nice portrait of Red 7, Ollie Suckling, who does the fast taxiing and the stuff there. So anyway, that only left me wanting more. So I'd already planned a trip with a good mate Steve, and we went up to the Mac Loop for a couple of days, on a whim, hoping, crossing everything that we were going to have some decent weather, which we did. And then we had every other kind of weather with that. Hail, sleet, snow, amazing rainbows, incredible views, but most importantly, some nice clean air. So we got some hawks through on that occasion, and finally got to use that 500mm Anger, which on full frame seems to be very good for the location bulk which we went to. And then to top the end of that day off, we had an A400 come through in some lovely light, and as it turns the corner at Spur, I just got this beautiful, almost horizontal as the aircraft banks round. So the 500mm there coming to its own. Then the Tuesday, the next day, was a total write-off with the weather. So there we go. That fell apart. But we still went up the hill.
The way the cookie crumbles below level, isn't it?
We still went up the hill, stared into the grey matter whilst getting wind blasted. We went to CAD that day, CAD East, I think. And then...
You just never know with that place, though, do you? As in, we've been up there in some atrocious weather and still seen stuff, and you think, you just
we were clock watching for a while, thinking, when is this too long to be called stupid? Anyway, so after that, I think it was the first air show of the year, so Shuttleworth. So, I've tried to keep myself from getting too excited on the podcast of how much I love that place. For photography, it is fantastic because the time the flying starts, because the crowd line faces due east, the sun is behind you, and you just get some fantastic photos. So that was the first time using that 500mm properly at an air show, and despite it being quite a weighty prime, I was quite impressed with its performance, especially the age of it as well, because that lens only has 2 stops of image stabilizer, as opposed to the modern ones which have about 4, and then if you go into the mirrorless stuff, you're talking even up to 8 with the stuff that's built into the camera bodies. So I shot that all handheld, and even down to an 80th at sometimes for the takeoffs, and that worked very well. So very pleased with that. I've also started using the 1.4 converter that I've got to take it up to 700mm, and honestly, I can't notice a difference between with it on or off. There's no loss in quality. There's obviously it's more difficult to frame stuff in the moment when you're immediately in at 700mm. But I'm really enjoying using that and doing a bit of wildlife up at where I work, which Dave got a little taste of last week, where he held true to his threat and came and tracked me down.
He was on a tractor.
You were filming from the bushes, Dave. It did look suspicious. And there's something else I've been trying this year with that new lens is switching to center-weighted metering on my camera. And I just find I get better results that way. And I don't know whether that's just I've had too long over winter to get some skill fade into me. But center-weighted average has really come into its own with me there. And then last of all, I've bought, to combat the weight of that lens, so I don't have to carry it all the time, is the Speedy gimbal. I don't know whether anyone's got the targeted advertising on their social media accounts, but
yeah,
it's
right after you message the WhatsApp chat.
Yeah. So the Speedy gimbal is essentially, it's just a cup and a ball, and it depends which way you want to put it round. You can screw it onto your tripod foot, and then the other end onto the monopod. And then you've just got that ease of resting your camera on something, especially something as weighty as the 500, and just have the option to switch to handheld straight away if you want to. Whereas if you had a monopod screwed into that foot or a fixed gimbal head, you've got to fiddle about with too much. So if you've got any big primes out there and you do a lot of switching between handheld and moments, especially when, say again, doing bits of wildlife up at work, you just got that walking aid that quickly turns into a rest for your camera. So so I've been using that.
+1. Yeah, I'd say +1 for Speedy Gimbal as well, because it's I got one last year and it's a nice little piece of kit. So there you go. Keiran, what about you?
Yeah, so Sywell, I was it one of the first shoots? Probably one of the first shoots since I'd picked up the OM1 fully. That was my OM1, as opposed to one that I was trying out. It was also the first time in a long time that I've not had two cameras exactly the same to shoot with. So those that sort of know me know I'm a bit of a gear geek. And if you put a piece of gear in front of me, I'll probably buy it. And if I won't buy it, I'll try and keep hold of it for as long as I can. For those that can't see the video, the Danger Man has currently got his thumbs up. Yes, we'll come to that. So
you say about Speedy Gimbal's targeted marketing.
Yeah. Alan's got his very own targeted marketing. But that one, I used my EM1X for the start of the shoot. And actually, I walked over and I was like, "Where's your new camera?" And it was kind of an element of making sure I was still happy with the camera I was shooting with. And that worked quite well. I was still amazed at how well it tracked. With people shots, it's night and day. We'll come to in the air when I was shooting the first air show with the OM1. But great for people shots, still works fine. So that just worked well. Shot lots during that shoot, which, blessing and a curse. Lots to cull through, but actually had the opportunity to get some images of reenactors in just the right place. For those that haven't seen any images from that shoot, that was set up like a movie scene kind of thing, where you didn't have sort of moments to say, right, hold there a second, let me just reposition. It was just straight in and the scene unfolded. And then again, Sywell, the printing, the printing workshop was really quite interesting and just something I've never done before. So understanding how that all fits together, the different types of paper, the different types of how you edit them, and all of those kind of things was quite interesting. So I did an edit of a sunset photo on a paper that had like a warmer tone to it. I can't remember what that particular paper was. It was a what was the paper manufacturer with us?
It was Permajet. I think it was the FB Gold Silk from memory.
There you go, if anyone's interested. That was quite interesting. And then was a bit sneaky, and it had my Mac Loop photo of the Polish F16 printed on their metallic paper, which is, I think, titanium luster. That was quite a cool moment to go outside and look at. But yeah, to learn the differences between editing for screen and editing for print was quite interesting. Well, then in terms of like my favourite one, as you probably picked up from the start, the We'll Meet Again in York weekend at Yorkshire Air Museum in the centre of York. They were great. I mean, I was either inside an aircraft generally or in the sort of evening light in York. So lots and lots of high ISO work, lots of Lightroom denoise doing a lot of heavy lifting on those images. Also a bit of a tricky compromise. So OM Systems do a 12 to 40 millimeter f2.8, but they also do the 12 to 100 f4. So it's like, do you go flexibility or do you go light? And it's a bit of a gamble. And I think I gambled to the f4 till kind of we got past the blue hour and then went to the 2.8. But it worked really well. And to have some photos of, well, some genuinely unique photos around there, and the evening was fantastic. The guys with the Irving Squadron were just something else to work with, and the way they conduct themselves, the attention to detail while we were going around York was just fantastic as a shoot. Did get asked if we were on a stag do at least twice. For those who were watching to the Guy Fawkes pub, and yeah, I'll try and find some of the images if they're happy for me to share them of us in there. But it was quite funny because people genuinely thought they weren't quite sure, and then walking down Shambles where people were going, I know I've had a few drinks, but I feel like I've gone back in time. And it's like, you have. But they were great fun working. A team of 4 photographers working with them. Just something totally different. If you ever get the chance to sort of stretch those creative muscles outside of an organised shoot, it's great to do. And events like We'll Meet Again are fantastic for that. There are plenty others. There's Yorkshire Wartime. I think We Have Ways have reenactors. Victory Show, of course, is one that I know Bradley's about to shout at me. All those kind of events are great because you can kind of work with the reenactors and sort of make your own shots that are different. There's so much opportunity than just the standard shots. So that for me is still my standout moment for the whole year. Close second, the Mac Loop, because if you haven't listened to that episode, shooting the F-16 on the final day, polished F-16s, after we'd waited practically all week to get the shot. I say I'm complaining like we saw basically everything else in the rest of the week. I cannot sit here complaining. But yeah, probably We'll Meet Again in York, followed by the Mac Loop.
Okay, Alid, for you, what challenges have you faced this year, and what's paid off? What's worked? What's not worked?
So again, it's just a curse of where I work. Basically, is that I'm always using different kit. So going from a Sony A7, an A1 II with a big Sigma 300 to 600 f4 on one day, then into the weekend shooting OM Systems, and then again on Monday shooting Sony, and then shooting Canon yesterday. So it's just that constant swap between things. I can get myself through most of them, but there are always little things that crop up that you look back at the images and go, I didn't quite get that right. So looking back at some of the Midlands Air Festival images already, I can see that just wasn't quite honed into the OM1 that day because I was still on Sony Sigma mode, so I just couldn't quite get the settings right as to how I wanted them. So that's always going to be a challenge with what I do, because I can't turn up to a Sony shooting Canon, and I can't turn up to a Canon shooting Nikon, for example. So you've got to follow the brands that you're working with. So it's a challenge, but it's one that I do thrive off. But every now and again, you do just make those little errors. So there's a few from Midlands that I kind of got wrong. Mentioned it already, but I do struggle in backlit conditions as well. I'm not a fan of the photos that look like they're too HDR edited. Granted, I don't do loads of editing anyway. I prefer a more simpler sort of true to life thing. So I just don't have that skill set to be able to make a backlit image look very nice. Some people are great at it, but I'm just not one of those, unfortunately. And then again, similar to Bradley, where sort of only taking one lens to an event and then wishing you maybe took another one just as a backup. I took the Sony 400 to 800 out to Greece. So 2 days on base and in the low levels, I thought that was going to be fine. What I didn't realise was just how close Zeus, the F-16 demo, was going to come to the crowd on his dedication pass.
Yeah, get back.
So
yeah.
Being pinned in at 800 millimeters was actually quite scary, seeing him come around the corner, because I was pretty much eye to eye with the pilot, and he was close.
He won't be doing that at I've got to say, you won't be doing that at Farnborough, let's say that.
No, yeah, there was one shot I looked back through the back of the camera, and I think I had my eyes shut at this point, but I've just got a full frame roundel, so it was close. So yeah, that was a challenge. But again, it's kind of nice to force yourself into doing something different. And I got used to the lens come the end of the week and managed to get some nice stuff. But yeah, there was a couple of occasions on that trip where I wish I probably did just have a second one that was just a little bit wider than 4
I got to say, the crowdline setup that they had for the Tiger Meet Air Show on the Sunday was that it went out, didn't it? You had people back, all the speakers were kind of like behind the crowd line from the main crowd line. It dipped in, and all the people were shouting there. I mean that was fun for me. The air show there again. It was backlit as well, wasn't it? Backlit to hell, and we got.
Yeah, it was better on the airshow
Yeah.
day because it was a little bit
Yeah.
cloudy.
It diffused it a bit. Yeah.
But the spotters day, yes, was the same.
Yeah,
So.
I think that was the challenge for me in Greece for that shoot for the Tiger Meet was that it was very, very bright and we got the German Eurofighter, we got Zeus obviously, Daedalus, and we got the Hellenic Phantoms who were doing their practice authorization for RIA, weren't they? I think we could say, yeah, I know. So they would have been here. So, and what a show, what a display that was. So
it was very good, yeah. An honourable mention for the Hungarian Griffin as well, with the flame out the back. Yeah. So that was nice to see. That worked really well against the blue sky, actually.
Yeah. So we had that. For me, I think I will say to people, remember, check your camera before you shoot. Check your settings. Make sure it's on the right setting. Make sure that you're not shooting on night shoot settings when you take your camera out of the bag. Just remember to reset it, because I didn't. And I was sat there and I had, we were in the morning and we've got the Phantom coming out the Has. So we were on the side of the taxiway. I got my Nikon Z30 down on a Gorilla Pod. I set the video to that, let that go, and then I'm looking and I'm shooting and thinking, why is this not going? And it was on 2 seconds delay because I'd left it on the night shoot settings. And then when I went to change the settings back to continuous high or whatever it is, I set it to the wrong one. So I was shooting JPEG for half the day. JPEG, high quality JPEGs. So that's
I made a similar mistake at York.
Yeah.
ISO 8000.
Yeah.
While trying to shoot outside.
Oh yeah, my ISO as well was way up, and it was like, the night before I sat there and thought, you got to get your cameras, you got to put them together, you got to make sure you get your times right between them and everything like that. Set it up properly. And what did I do? Went out, got drunk, went to bed. So my own fault. Waking up that morning as well.
Dave.
Oh, responsible. Going to the coffee shop in a white t-shirt and getting coffee with a lid that was loose and spilling coffee down you, and me screaming, dropping the F-bomb a few times in the back of the van. I do apologise to everybody, but that's why I was swearing, because I spilled coffee. So it didn't start well that day, and it went downhill from that day onwards. So, yeah, manage your equipment and manage to try and set it up properly. Remember to do that. So there's probably the things that I found it. And another thing from MAF last weekend, I had the Bigma on. So I had the 300-600 on the Nikon body with the...
Bigma.
The Bigma. It's a big thing. It's very big.
Traffic cone.
It's a traffic cone, and it's bloody heavy as well. I blame you for that, Phillips.
It's a great lens, though. It's the first one I take out the cabinet whenever I'm off somewhere. So
fantastic lens.
But
what you have to remember is you really should stand it probably on a piece of cloth and lens down, rather than putting pressure on the body. Because if you put pressure on the body, it kind of disconnects, and there's several times I picked it up and it's not focused or anything like that, and I've had to reset it. So that's a problem with that lens, and that I think it's a problem as well with Sony as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I've had it a couple of times up the loop where it's done similar. The connection just hasn't quite maintained itself. I think it is just a byproduct of the weight of the lens. It is nearly 3 kilos, so I do try and put it down either flat horizontal with the body sort of rested on a camera bag or something, or lens hood down so it's just vertical. But as we all know, sometimes in the loop it's pretty windy, so sometimes you can't do that.
I think I need to sort something out for that with a bag or something like that, so I might be talking to you about another bag. Oh, God help us. Right.
Look at his smile.
You all know the brand I'm going to say, so I don't have brand
No.
allegiances, but there's one that definitely sticks out for out and
Yeah,
about
all right,
photography.
okay.
Definitely is.
Yeah, I know which one it is, and it's not that one I'm going to go for. Right, so your standout moments of 2026 so far. Kieran's already told us it's York the Irving squadron because he went on about it. So your standout moment was that. So we're not going to talk to you about that then, Kieran. You've done it already. Bradder's standout moment.
Yeah, I think for me, more generally, it is being able to finally get out and use that dream lens that I'd always wanted. So the 500mm. But before that, there is one shoot, and I think we touched on it in a previous pod, is the Vulcan shoot down at Wellesbourne that Threshold.aero ran. I think for a shoot that you could, as I've said before, you could book weather and all that. You can't book that. You can book the shoot, sorry, but you can't book any of the conditions to get a fantastic sunset like that. So I think so far, I think that's probably my standout shots of the year. So I think that's going to live in my memory. And I was rather hoping that Riyadh might be to overtake that later in the year.
Yeah.
But
About
yeah, but yeah, let's. I'm still in mourning, so.
Kieran, you said the Irving squadron, haven't you? So yeah, that was yours, wasn't it? Just walking around York, photographing those guys and seeing them at Yam.
It's kind of the not zero expectations, but you never quite know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
no idea what the shoot's going to be, no idea where you're going to find yourself, and I think that's always a nice recipe for it becoming a standout moment.
Yeah, excellent.
I think you think about things a bit differently when you're thrust in the moment, aren't you? Because if you get too much time to prepare, you've already started envisaging shots, and I know that's something I do. I end up taking way too many of the same shot rather than looking for something different.
Yeah, definitely.
Alex, yours, come on.
Yeah, for me, it was one of the day trips up to the Loop. So we'd had a little bit of a heads up that there might be some F-15 action coming through in a couple of days' time for the pilot's Finney flight. So we took the chance and went on up. Even my partner said, "Oh yeah, I'll book a day off and come with you." And it's okay, it needs to be nice weather, have a chance of seeing something. And I just thought this is going to go wrong. It's going to be windy. We're not going to see anything, and she's going to hate me forever.
Expectations
but no,
low.
seeing the yeah, definitely. I did try and portray that because, as you say, you just never know what's going to happen. But yeah, luckily we had the 3 ship of F-15s come through, and as has just been announced, they will be leaving the UK in the not too distant future. So any chance to go and get those is going to be really nice. And I've only ever had F-15s from Cadiz before, so there was predominantly distant head-ons and then belly shots. So to get them from bulk exit with the top side, I even chanced it and went down to 1/320th. So I got some really nice shots off of the back of that, and it was sunny, and the bulk backdrop actually worked quite well that day for me. So I was quite pleased. So yeah, standout moment was definitely getting the top side F-15 that I've been chasing for quite a while now.
Great stuff. I mean, for me, getting on base with Phantoms, and it probably was the last thing that we shot. Kind of significant, kind of. Gave me a little bit of a sentimental value as well. We've gone over to the far side at Andravida. If anybody's been there, and lots of people that listen probably know Andravida from Niochos and have been out there. We were on the opposite side to where the control tower was, but further down near the dump. We weren't obviously allowed to photograph any of the aircraft on the dump again. I counted so many there. God, I could rummage around those and the bits you could take off of them. One day. So we were over there, and we had the chance of you could either stay on the far side, the near side, and shoot the Phantoms as they were taking off with the light behind them and getting the glorious light on them, the mountains behind them and everything like that. And we got that earlier in the day, actually, of a little bit of golden light as it was getting dark. But we were going round over that. It was the last movement of the night, and a glorious shot I've got of the Phantom just going off full burners, just absolutely silhouetted against a kind of a very light orange sky. And it just stands out for me that we ain't going to see them for much longer, and make the most of them. I mean, I don't know if there'll be a FanCon next year. If there is, do your best to try and get on it. There won't be many places, but you might be lucky, and go and see them various places. Athens Flying Week. They're going to be other air shows in Europe. I do believe they're taking them out, but that was the moment for me. Certainly, that golden light and that phantom going off and disappearing and the smoke coming out of the back of it. It was just everything I think that I wanted. There you go. That was from me. Right. Did we all keep our photography New Year's resolutions?
I think so.
Well, mine was to do more low level,
I did
and we were going to do low level, weren't we? And then I had to because work happened, so I haven't done the loop yet, but I am definitely planning now. I've got some extra leave back to go to the loop later in the year. Brad, yours was apparently change it up a bit, stop playing it safe at the same events and go for a different angle.
Yeah, so I think again, at the risk of talking about that new lens, is that in itself has given me a new way of looking at things. Now, I've always found it very difficult to photograph people. I've never been totally comfortable doing it, especially if they know their photo's being taken. So I think that having that 500mm is a bit of a Daily Mail camera, but you can shoot from that standoff, comfortable point of view, and I quite enjoyed that. So I did get a nice collection of shots of some of the Shuttleworth people, especially if people who know Shuttleworth, the former chief pilot, Dodge Bailey, always. More or less always flies the Comet, and it was just a lovely little sequence of him getting in, a lovely display, and then him actually getting out the aircraft and all that. And something seemed to click with that lens and that setup. That, do you know what? Shooting people, especially in a show like that, they're kind of expecting it and not to be so apprehensive about it. So I think in that kind of way, and having 500mm is giving me a different angle already. Especially when I can slap that converter on as well to take it up to 700mm.
Yeah. Okay. Keiran, yours was to shoot more aircraft in the wild. In the wild, Ecky Thump. Base visits, low level, etc. Ecky Thump.
The northern accent gets worse.
Ecky Thump is from Yorkshire, if you remember the goodies.
It still gets
Not everyone's
worse.
as old as you, Dave.
Shut up.
It is ancient. Go give Dave
You've
some
got
abuse.
no idea. Look up Ecky Thump, the goodies. Yeah, ancient art of Ecky Thump. AA. Right.
You better watch out the next time you cross the border.
He's not getting a visa. It's all right. Anyway, so yeah, I think I kept to mine. So between the Mac Loop, RAF Waddington, the stuff at Real Aeroplane Club, and then did I mention the Irving Squadron in York? I don't know if I did.
2 times, yeah.
But all of those weren't staged events, which what I wanted to get back to. I'd not done them for a few years. I had a very busy couple of years of shooting sort of stage photo shoots or base visits and stuff like that. And they're great, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to just get outside the fence sometimes and go and have some fun. I mean, RAF Waddington was particularly fun because I just played with all manner of random OM system gear for the day, which was brilliant. All random combinations of 2x teleconverters, comparing them to other lenses and seeing what random. I think they thought I was a bit mad, I'll be honest, by the end of it.
Hang on, go back. Did you have lots of 2x teleconverters on the front with a lens?
No,
I was going to say.
Yeah, so I was shooting I had the 50 to 200 for the Mac Loop, and it was the weekend after. And so I was trying the 2x teleconverter with that to compare that to like the 100 to 400 that they do. But then I've since tried another lens and all that's irrelevant. So moving on. Well, you might hear about another acquisition at some point.
Okay.
But yes, they were all on stage, and that for me, I think I kept to it. I've got more to come, hopefully. Particularly with like reacts not happening, frees up some leave. There are some silver linings, although it's a real shame that it's not there. But yeah, no, definitely. I think kept to it. I'd like to keep to it a bit more. Go do some more low level would be nice. So,
Wayne's was we'll mention this: shoot less, shoot better, sod that, 40 frames per second and hope. And given what was going on,
who was stood next
Saturday,
to him on Saturday?
So yeah, Wayne was cannoning
Mr.
it. So
Blatt a lot, wasn't he?
that's 40 frames per second definitely. So Alid, come on, what?
Well, I didn't actually make any on the podcast, so I'm just going to lie and say that I definitely did stick to my New Year's resolutions. Mine was just to enjoy it more. So last year for me was a little bit up and downy in my sort of personal life. So last year's React, it was great that it was so social, and that kind of got me through. But the actual shooting wise, I didn't necessarily enjoy too much. So to tag in with the likes of you guys and actually have a social side to going out and shooting with things like the Mac Loop, the stage photo shoots, and even out in Greece with yourself, Dave, and all the rest of them that were out there.
Collins.
It's just bringing that social side, and all my Collins, yeah. Just bringing that social side back into the shooting and actually enjoying that side alongside enjoying the photography. There was a bit of a mismatch for me last year, so to put that back in so far this year has been a game changer for me. So yeah, it's just so much more enjoyable when you can enjoy both aspects of the social and the images that you're taking. It's just been really nice. So yeah, that was mine. It's just to put the enjoyment back into what we do.
I mean, obviously mine was to do more low level. I did the canyon again. We only did one day in the canyon in Veracruz, and we did get Phantoms, we did get F-16s, we did get helicopters through, so that was good. I need to get to the loop, and we discussed this at the weekend about going to the loop. One of the benefits of RIAT being cancelled is that more leave. You don't use all your leave, so I've got some leave that I can use in the autumn, hopefully, to go to the loop. I think enjoying things. I mean, the social side of it, enjoying Saturday with everybody, going out for a meal afterwards was really nice. You know, it's all chatting, having a beer. That's part of the fun of it for me. It's, you know, the photos are well, sometimes are okay, and sometimes after Saturday they're not okay. So I just shrug my shoulders and think, move on to the next thing. So, you know, that's basically it. So just enjoying it, and certainly we had a great time out in Greece. The beer barbecue, meeting up with Kedar Kamarka, and putting on an Australian accent and seeing him literally frightened that my Australian friend was there. So no, he's not here. Don't worry. But meeting up with all the guys out there, you know, Kelvin and Kevin Sullivan, seeing you know, everybody that we know in a bar, just having a beer just before it all goes through and just enjoying yourselves. It was great. So that's mine.
It's been so nice as well, like talking to people about the podcast. You know, we're coming up to nearly a year.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. The conversations that it's good to hear people are enjoying it, and all the suggestions people have been making. So do keep them going.
Yeah,
that's added to the social as well.
Yeah, that helps us as well. Right, next few months, what's coming up for you, Brad?
Yeah, so obviously, what are we this time of recording? We've got another weekend first, and then it's Cosford's the next air show for me. Again, very much on the theme of backlit, so I'm kind of hoping it's going to be cloudy. And we've already had our first
Blue
cancellation.
2 temperatures at Cosford.
Yes, 2 temperatures. And I'm rather hoping that we don't have any more dropouts. As time of recording, the French Rafale is confirmed for the show. So, fingers crossed that we get that. But I mean, it's a lot riding on that show, because obviously with the cancellation of RIAT,
a lot of people have moved, haven't they?
Well, that's it. And I think it goes to show you, because obviously we get a lot of moaning about the air tattoo, but people don't know what they've got until it's gone. And I think a lot of people have realised quite what a lift in the middle of the season that air show is for the military and all that kind of aviation that you just don't get at other shows. As much as I love Shuttleworth and places like that, the air tattoo is the pinnacle. So for fast jet action, I think my real only fix this year might be Cosford. So fingers crossed that the Rafale turns up. Not away from aviation, the weekend after that, of something different, doing the Red Bull soapbox race in London, Alexandra Palace. Something that my partner booked out of the blue, and she saw it came up, and she booked it there and then. So hopefully get there nice and early, get a nice spot, and get some photos of mad people in essentially shopping trolleys that are tarted up going down a hill, and use some of those those skills in aviation photography that are crossover to that. And then So it's a busy June, really, and then finishing June, which probably, if I had to put a bet on, will be the highlight of my year, is Shuttleworth's Festival of Flight. They're only 2 day show, and they have got an incredible lineup. Most of the Flying Balls fleet coming. I'm led to believe that the P-38 will also be operating from Old Warden, and to see that on the, I know, and
Dave's
yes,
having a crisis.
next crisis. The genuine BF 109 Emil from Germany on the deck at Shuttleworth.
Ooh. Yeah.
Oh, and hopefully being in a tail chase with some Spitfires or something. Oh, it's going to be incredible.
Anyone's going to make that happen. Shuttleworth will, won't they?
And
it will
probably put it up in the evening. So I really hope that there's going to be some cracking weather for that. I'm staying from the Friday, then not going until the Monday. So it's going to be like my Reat that is this time, I think.
Okay. Keiran, what are you up to rest of the year?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of weeks break now. Oh no, I've got Thunder Day on Sunday, but we'll ignore that for now because I've mentioned it in a previous pod. We've got then Real Stolfest, so Real Short Takeoff or Landing Festival. That's up at Breeton again. So this is kind of new for this year. It was kind of happened last year, but it was a bit more of a fly-in. And somehow Breeton have managed to persuade the CAA that they can actually operate a competition. So they've formed UK Stoll, and they've started building their carrier deck this week, where we're going to have a short takeoff or landing contest in the middle of the month. You've got to be a member to go there for that, so that could be quite an interesting one to see how that unfolds.
Sounds cool.
So it's first year, it pushed me towards getting a membership for Breeton, which I've since gone and used, and they've got a good cafe, which I think I've mentioned before. Big fan of cafe at places. The next one after that, again, is Shuttleworth Festival Flight, which I'm staying same as Bradley, Friday through to Monday, taking the full experience on site at Shuttleworth, which I'm really looking forward to. I've never camped at Shuttleworth before, never sort of taken in that element of the show, but also just the whole sort of Festival Flight. Last year I could only do one day because of other commitments, and that show was just amazing. So yeah, can't wait for that. Cannot wait for that show. Really crossing everything that we end up with some good weather. But we all know Shuttleworth, they'll make something happen even if we don't. Yeah. I think I've been Shuttleworth in all conditions. And then one that literally just booked this week with the cancellation of Reat. I'm off to Farnborough. And I can already hear the listeners going, boo. Boo.
You'll get a nosebleed that far down, mate.
Yeah.
Well, it's and before anybody comments, it's not an air show. It's got aircraft in the sky doing a display. It's an air show. And if anybody wishes to disagree with me, don't. So I'm off to Farnborough to take that in. I don't really quite know how that's going to go. I know I'm £70 lighter for the pleasure. And just see I'm never going to be able to do it again because I'm usually at Reat, and just take in the experience and the sort of geekery of aviation and see where it takes me, really. Put a shirt on for an air show, and an interesting experience, dressing smartly. It does very clearly state. So it could be an interesting experience to go around and take that in. So that'll be something different. Also a bit civvy, which I've seen some of the videos from displays from Farnborough, things like the A350 and that being chucked around at Farnborough. That I've always kind of wanted to see that. So regardless of what else happens that day, if I see some form of airliner doing something marginally more interesting than taking off and landing, then I think that'll be a good day.
I think you will. The last Farnborough I went to was 1992 when the 225 was there, and that was a sight to behold, let's say. So
I wasn't born, Dave.
Yes. Yeah, all right.
It's the longest.
Moving on swiftly, Alex.
The longest form I've ever filled in, by the way, that for an air show.
Yeah.
Like best part of 5 pages.
Yeah. Wearing a shirt. I hope somebody gets a photo of you. I think I know who's going with you, so I will make sure we get photos of you, and you're not camping as well. Ali, what's yours?
Me, who also wasn't born the last time you went to Farnborough, just throwing that out there.
Shut up!
I'm still looking for a React replacement, so I've not yet booked in anything to replace that one. So I dare say a Shuttleworth may be on the cards for that one. there is also potential for Athens Flying Week as well. So I think I'm probably going to be heading out to Greece for
love
that
it.
one. So that's a little bit
You'll
further
love
away. But that's going to be another one I think on my list. I think I'm going to try and do a bit more actual ops stuff. So being only 40 minutes away from Fairford and still not having gone over, that's probably a bit of a curse. So I might try and get over there for a day and see if I can catch any movements out that side. And also maybe either a trip to Valley or Coningsby or somewhere just to get some jet action somewhere. I think I'm definitely leaning towards sort of base visits and ops stuff rather than airshow this year. Just tend to really enjoy that side of things and actually watching the pilots do what they're there to do rather than chucking it around and just operate jets in a way that is more akin to what they're actually designed to do. So I think I'm going to try and lean into that a bit more this year.
For me, I've got 4 days off in June where I've got the Aussie over, so we're meeting up and we're going to go to the Hall and the Heath. I did suggest going down to Fairford, but he wants to do the Hall and the Heath, so we're doing that. And then Festival of Flight, and he's meeting up with a few other people, so good luck to everybody he's meeting up with before that week. I hope he behaves himself. Then obviously the big Riet Hole. I thought about Farnborough, but no, I've got a few days off around. I've not cancelled all my leave for Riet, so I may head down and see if I can do some bomber movements that week, see if I get something, just go down there and get my kind of fix of it. Probably going to be doing the summer air show at Shuttleworth because that's looking like going to be another blinder.
That's a great one.
Yeah, unbelievable. They've really pulled some stuff out of the bag again this year, Shuttleworth. They really, really do go the extra mile. And like Khalid, I'd like to get out to something a bit exotic, depending if I've got to wait till the 25th of June when the football fixtures come out and I know if I'm working or not working. And I'm praying that the weekend of the 4th of September we're away so I can go to Athens. So that's my plan. If I can, I will go to Athens Flying Week. If I can't, I can't do it. And it'll either be out to Denmark or it'll either be out to Sweden, one of those two. So that's the plan. But certainly getting to the loop later in this year and spoken to Mr. Phillips about that and hopefully doing a plan and getting up there.
It's worth mentioning there is a lot of trips that these companies are running, like Co-op and For Aviation and people like this. There's Riyadh is a big gap in everyone's calendar. I think because it's so close for us, we don't have to travel relatively far to go and do it. But you've only got to take a look through the bookings that they're taking for these numerous tours and trips abroad. And if you are looking to scratch an itch and this is the opportunity to get abroad and go and see something different, there's a whole world out there. You can go and do some aviation photography. So definitely worth looking at.
If you can afford it and you want to go, Oshkosh, because that is something else apparently. Not done it, but one day I'll do it. So
there's some shoots
we've
coming up as well.
kind of said what
put an email today, didn't they, Dave?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, there's something special, I think, coming up the beginning of July that they've mentioned. I think we know what it is. We can't say what it is, but it's something very, very nice. And other things they've got planned throughout the year as well, and obviously hopefully the Riet Week things will occur. We've spoken about the Riet shaped hole we've got in our summers, so we're hoping to do it a little bit different. The next pod that you've already recorded is about editing, isn't it?
Yep.
Certainly is.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right, okay.
hopefully.
So you don't really want to say anything about it then?
Give us go on, Bradley. This been so the way this works with the pod is we all chuck an idea in. So Bradley, this was yours.
Yeah, I think
Sell it.
everything we've been sort of recording up to, you've taken lots of images, right? What do you do with those images? And I think that podcast is going to go into the depths of not how to edit, because we can't do that on a podcast, but it's more about the ethos around it. Why do we edit? What can you do with an edit? And some of the things quite heavily centered on Lightroom, which we do try to drift away from. And there is a whole second part, should we wish to continue it, that will go right into the depths of Lightroom. But anyone who really wants to get into their editing and improve it, we can't recommend the guys at Co-op enough, can we? Centre of Aviation Photography, Rich and Tom, and their courses, second to none, and they're the ones I blame for creating the monster that I've become. So,
and if you're not a member, but you go on the blogs, you can see that there's little tips on their editing tips that are put on there. They're really good. Steve does those, doesn't he? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so.
So his editing is just out of this world. Do you think Brad's good? Sorry, Brad. Steve is just mad at some of the stuff he comes up with. So there you go.
Got no idea where he dreams up some of those things and pulls them all together. It's astonishing.
Indeed. We'll have to get him on the pod and talk about it,
let's do it
later in the year. That would be a good one. Right. Guys, that's basically it, isn't it? We're not going to talk any longer. It's been 55 odd minutes of this, so there we are. Alid, have you enjoyed your first one? Really? Well, it's not your first one, but you know what we mean.
The first official. Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's always nice chatting to you guys, and everyone that I do now, it feels more and more just like a conversation. I'm certainly not as nervous to come on and be put in front of the Dragons Den team. So no, it's all good.
I only called you dangerous twice. There you go. Brad, thank you for being there, and thanks for meeting up with us last week. It was great seeing you in the field outside of Math. Yeah.
Yeah, even if it wasn't the greatest location, eh?
No, it wasn't, was it?
It was near the bar.
I might put one of my photos up of where we were. Let's say how far away the big was. Keiran, good to see you last weekend as well, mate. You look after yourself. Yeah. Okay, cheers, guys. Thanks for listening. This has been All the Gear, No Idea. And if I press this button here, we should get some music. That should tell you it's the end of the pod. Look after yourselves. We'll be back again soon. Take care.
See ya.